Hello and welcome to the ZubiaLive channel. I'm Shane Schultz and I'll be your host for today's program. Zubia is your health and wellness live streaming community specializing in interactive video, bringing you current information to health and wellness topics that affect you. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at ZubiaLive and our website, ZubiaLive.com. Today on the ZubiaLive channel is part 3 of our 4-part series with our featured guest, Susan Rahn. The Susan Rahn series, hashtag Living with Breast Cancer. Our topic today is a new approach to breast cancer research. Susan Rahn is a respected advocate in the breast cancer community and was diagnosed in 2013 at age 43 with metastatic breast cancer. Whether protesting on the Hill in DC or raising eyebrows with the truth on Twitter, change is what Susan wants to see. You can find her on her award-winning blog, Stick It to Stage 4, as she chronicles her illness, or at the Underbelly magazine, a digital breast cancer magazine she co-founded with her friends, Melissa McAllister and Melanie Childers. Please welcome my good friend, Susan Rahn. Hey, Susan, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
It is awesome to have you here today. Listen, we are doing a 4-part series, and it is called the Susan Rahn series, hashtag Living with Breast Cancer. We've done 2 parts. We did the first part when we were on Capitol Hill, where you shared your live experience of the stage 4 stampede. We did part 2, which was last week, when we were talking about different resources to be able to help patients who are now and in the future. We talked about living beyond breast cancer. And we also talked about a Twitter hashtag, which was BCSM, which is to help people with research and also with social media aspects in order to be able to get the word out. So today we're going to be talking about Count Me In, and it's a new approach to cancer research. And one thing that I know that when we have different challenges, struggles in life, metastatic breast cancer, definitely follows in along with a challenge or struggle in life. A lot of people go through the motions. A lot of people just go through what it is that they need to go through to merely exist until that day as to where either they find a way in order to find a cure to be able to get outside of what it is that they're challenged or struggled by. But when it comes to metastatic breast cancer, currently there is no cure. So to go through the motions is certainly acceptable, especially with society as it is. You decided to do something different. You decided to kind of be a leader in helping people get involved in research in order to find the cure, hopefully sooner than later, but definitely be on the lookout for one. So how did you go about doing that? I know that there's a certain project that we want to talk about today. That's called the MBC Project. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So the MBC Project is literally one of a kind. There's nothing else out there like it. It was started by Dr. Nicole Wegley. He is a breast cancer oncologist and metastatic breast cancer researcher. The project is directed by Corey Painter, who's a PhD and a cancer researcher. She's also a cancer patient herself. This project is done at the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard, which is a not-for-profit cancer research institute in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And so what they decided to do was get patients, current metastatic patients, actively involved in this type of a project. So they know that a lot of patients are actively involved in social media. And so they went to social media and started to recruit patients to see if they would be willing to sign up with them and give them permission to access their medical files, give them access to their tumor information. When we have biopsies done on our breast tumors and things like that, usually the cancer centers will keep that information on file on slides and things like that if they need to refer back to it. And so they wanted access to that information, get our DNA, so that they can do research on that and see if they can use that information to potentially get better treatments out of that, maybe see if there's some genetic information that maybe we all have in common They wanted to study certain patients along with that. There are a group of patients within the MBC community that are called outliers. Those patients are called outliers because they will respond to their first line of treatment extremely well, and that will get them to no evidence of disease and keep them there for a very long time. And so they wanted to study those individuals. They wanted to study different pathologies of metastatic patients. So they're leveraging the Broad Institute's resources and the voice of the metastatic community so that they can focus on cutting edge genomic science and squarely on people living with metastatic breast cancer. And so that's basically what the project is in a nutshell.
Okay. All right. So the goal is what? It is obviously in search of a cure, which is what everybody kind of labels it as, but it's also meant for other things too, right? It's also meant for new therapies, which we talked about off stage here. So why don't you tell me a little bit more of what it is that they're looking to do outside of just get a cure of which everybody wants?
Yep. So they're, looking to potentially discover new therapies, maybe get some better medications so that we can have a longer progression-free cycle, so that we can have a longer lifespan. Clearly, we're all hoping that they can discover something within all of our DNA and maybe tumor information that no one's ever discovered before, that could potentially lead to a cure, or hopefully maybe discover the mechanism of metastases, because I've always said, and I will continue to say, that until researchers can discover the mechanism that causes metastases, you will never get to a cure. So that's kind of what I'm hoping at the end of the day, is that they can maybe figure that out with all of the people that participate. Since this project launched 2 years ago, it was October actually in 2015 that this project officially launched, and they started actively recruiting folks on Twitter, on Facebook, and it became a word of mouth kind of thing where once they recruited a few people, they encouraged those folks to share and get other people to sign up. In the 2 years they've been around, they have already recruited about 4,000 metastatic patients. So, they're hoping to uncover maybe new genes that they didn't know about, but I'm kind of hoping that it could eventually one day lead to a cure. Maybe not in my lifetime, but, down the road for other potential breast cancer patients.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know that you can do a lot of good even outside of the cure, right? Because like you mentioned, new therapies, you mentioned new medications. I think what happens is when people are into a foundation for the cure, I think often people think, well, they haven't found it this long. And science, one thing that I know, science takes a while because it's a process of elimination. It can be discouraging, especially as somebody who really is needing a cure more than some. And so here you have the opportunity in order to be able to make a difference outside of the cure. And I think that that is important to know for everyone who would be involved. So I think that's something that's really cool. So who can participate? Since we've said now it's not just about finding the cure, you can still make a difference. So who can participate?
So all metastatic breast cancer patients can participate. If you live in the United States, if you live in Canada, you can participate. They want all metastatic breast cancer patients to sign up and participate if you live in the US and Canada. They're also encouraging folks outside of the US and Canada to sign up, because eventually they do want to have internationally as well.
Sure.
So basically, if you are a metastatic patient, sign up. They want everybody. They want as many patients as possible.
Okay. All right. So how can people get involved? I mean, you mentioned the word sign up. So where do they sign up?
So folks can sign up on their website, which is MBC Project, all one string, mbcproject.org. You visit the online site, you fill out a really simple questionnaire, and that will trigger the website to ask for permission to contact your medical providers so that they can ask for your medical records, tumor samples and all of that information. Mm-hmm. And once you give them permission to do that, then they will in turn send you this box that says "Count Me In," and inside of that is a saliva kit. So that they can get a fresh sample of your DNA through your saliva. It's all postage paid. This will not cost anyone anything. This is completely free for the patient to do this. Mm-hmm. And once you get that box, you go ahead and you spit in a tube, of like so much, okay. And you put it back in the box and you drop it in the mailbox and it goes back to them. And that starts the process of giving them your DNA and information. And it goes into their database and they start processing all the information. And it's really simple. The whole process, maybe for the filling out the information on the website, maybe takes about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. So now with all the information that's collected and the research that's going on, you got a lot of things that are happening here. What is it that you want to see in the near future? I mean, what is it that you think is going to make a difference here with the MBC project? How do you see it really making a difference for the metastatic breast cancer community?
It's going to make a huge difference because with their using, cutting edge technology to study the cancer's genetic and molecular causes, cancer isn't just a single disease, and each tumor holds part of this puzzle of this metastatic disease. Right. So they're hoping that initial studies can help understand how the genetic mutations in cancer affect response to specific therapies, discovering these different connections between the mutations and responses. They hope to be able to get better clinical trials for folks like me so that they can get better medications out there. And if they can get better clinical trials and better medications, it can extend our lives. And, through all of that, who knows, they can discover different mutations and maybe unlock a cure. You just don't know. I mean, in this big haystack of all of our information, there could be that needle that everybody's been searching for. You just don't know. So that's why it's just so important for people to sign up and contribute. And it empowers us to be part of real-time research. People get frustrated because they hear, you've got to fund research, you have to fund research. Well, we're part of this project. We are literally, our DNA is part of this project. We now have a stake in it. And so it's a big deal because we can watch what happens when the reports come out and we see what's happening. We can say, hey, I was part of this. I helped make this happen. And it's a really good feeling to know that even though we have this, we're doing something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And you used my favorite word altogether, and that is empowerment. And I think that's exactly what it is that we're talking about here is, yes, you have metastatic breast cancer, but that doesn't mean that that's your life. It's a big part. It's a big part of your mind and body right now, but you are empowering yourself in order to be able to make a difference. Maybe not for you, but for others who are in the near future, if not you, right? Because we talked about that. It's like, yeah, science is a little bit slow. We get that, but we need to start it now. It's almost like when you're trying to grow a tree. When's the best time to start? Yesterday. Because it takes a while in order for it to reach its full potential. Right. So what you're doing is exactly that. So I really appreciate you, and I'm very impressed with the amount of efforts that you put in, not only with yourself, but also the other organizations like the MBC Project that you're working with. So part four of 4. We're going to be talking about the underbelly. So tell me a little bit about that. Give them a little of a preview of what it is that they are going to hear about next week.
So the Underbelly is very close to my heart. It is a digital magazine that I co-founded with two of my closest friends, Melissa McAllister and Melanie Childress. And we founded the magazine a year ago in August. And we are basically tearing down the pink ribbons that everybody has come to know in the breast cancer community, changing the narrative as everyone knows it. We are shining a light on the things that people have been not talking about. Everyone has been told and brainwashed to put on the smile when it comes to breast cancer and your diagnosis. Put on that smile, be positive, get through your treatments, get through your radiation and your surgery. Don't talk about how awful it is and how sick you feel. Make everybody around you feel comfortable and then get back to your life. And that's not how it works. So the Underbelly, we created a space for people to talk about all the things and the realities of what it's really like. And people have really embraced it. It's also a place where people can write and share about their experiences as well. So we will talk a lot more about the Underbelly and what we offer the breast cancer community next time.
That really sounds great, and I so much appreciate you bringing awareness to the MBC Project. I think it is pretty awesome for people to know about and to learn more of. So definitely get to that website. We'll make sure to get it here on the video. But before we let you leave, we want you to know from ZubiaLive that we want to support you in your fight against metastatic breast cancer. But more importantly, we want to help you raise money for research dollars, of which you put so much effort into. So ZubiaLive wants to donate $10 to the Cancer Couch Foundation for each person that downloads the iPhone app for ZubiaLive and does a live stream. Just have them mention hashtag MBC if you would, and then we will be donating $10 to the Cancer Couch Foundation in your name. So we definitely are in the fight with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Now I know you need to get going, so I'm going to let you go. Really looking forward to next week. Folks, the Susan Rahn series, hashtag Living with Breast Cancer. We're going to be talking about the Underbelly next week, and we'll see you then.
Hey everybody, ZubiaLive is going to donate $10 to the Cancer Couch Foundation for everybody that downloads their free iPhone app and does a live broadcast telling their metastatic breast cancer story and hashtag MBC. So get on the App Store, download the app, and do your live broadcast and raise $10 for the Cancer Couch Foundation today. It'll be going on today through the end of October. So what are you waiting for?